Thursday, May 19th. This is sixth period since I am recording each one, and that makes it easy for me to figure out which one is which. Tomorrow is field day as far as the theme goes. Today was the jersey, so I did one we did as a soccer jersey way back in the day. And if you are still wanting to buy things and get, well, for you guys, today's kind of the last one, you technically will see each other tomorrow, because we do come in here, but you're only in here for all of a few minutes, and then we head down to the awards ceremony. And I will update Skyward after school today. And, all right. If you have had kids apparently talk about the thing today, it's not sad is not what I'm going for. It's a somber conversation. It's more of a serious thing. And honestly, some of you guys it's going to hit more than others. The conversation I have today, for some kids, hits really hard and hits home. For others of you, it's probably not going to have as much of a weight to you. And so it's fine either way. My conversation with you was going to be a little bit different than how you normally see me have a conversation or talk with you guys. For one, I have notes that I have to use, because I have about an hour and a half's worth of conversation and only 30 minutes with which to talk to you. So trying to stay on course makes it a little bit of a challenge for me, which is why I mentioned like passing around yearbooks. I struggle today, and any distraction just makes it tougher on me. Normally when I speak with you guys also, I am very good at being succinct and not having pauses and stumbles. Today, I will be full of pauses and stumbles as I try to figure out what I want to say and which direction I want to go with things. And I'll also be looking at the clock a lot, because I keep trying to make sure I can get stuff in time. And we're going to be interrupted by the 8th grade iPad thing that they'll keep coming around for, which will be annoying, but they're almost done from there. Behind me, I will have a couple different screens I will put up. It just sort of depends on which conversation we end up having. Some of the quotes are for you guys to read, and then some of them are just for me, because they help me focus and they sort of help me figure out where I want to go with the conversations. Okay. I hate this week. I hate the last week of school. It's not one that I look forward to, and it's not one that I enjoy. I'm different than a lot of teachers. I'm different than a lot of humans in general. And so I love my job. I love teaching. I really enjoy interacting with kids and being in the classroom. It's not something I ever would have thought I would have liked when I was a kid. I hated junior high. But as an adult, it's the right place for me. It's where I should be. This week is bittersweet for me, because I enjoy summer. I mean, who doesn't like having time off? I love sleeping in. I love playing video games and going to the pool and reading books. All of it's great. The drawback is I don't get to be with you guys, which I really do enjoy. I like being in the classroom, and I like watching you guys grow over the course of the year. Don't get me wrong, you're annoying sometimes. You're a bunch of teenagers. Of course you're annoying. It's part of who you are. But that doesn't stop you from being enjoyable. So, this week is an emotional roller coaster for me of highs and lows, of me looking forward to having time off and then missing being around you guys. Plus, I have realized, no, let's go a different direction. You guys made me care about you, which makes me angry. Teaching is a lot easier if you don't like kids, because you guys are annoying. I mean that in the best possible way. But over the course of the year, you guys as a class and you guys individually have made me enjoy you, have made me really like being in the room with you. Even the days where we struggled and the days where we had tough ones, you've made me really enjoy who you guys are, which makes teaching a challenge. Because when you hate kids, it's easier to be mean to them. It's easier to kick them in the hallway, put them over in struggle town, make them stand, than when you actually care about kids. And the other part that goes along with the me caring about you is I have realized that for some of you, tomorrow is the last day I will see you, because you get choice over whether or not we see each other after tomorrow. As you guys go through 8th grade and high school and beyond, if you don't want to see me after tomorrow, you won't see me after tomorrow. Because it's not like I'm an 8th grade teacher. I'm not down in the 8th grade hallways. The only time we interact is if you actively choose to come back by my classroom. And it's tough when you care about someone and you know you might not ever see them again. And so that's partly why it's rough for me, is that I've realized that for some of you, tomorrow is that last time that we have an interaction. For better or for worse, it's choices that you guys get to make. I spent this last week telling you guys stories about my childhood and who I was for a couple of reasons. One of them is I want today to have weight. If today's my last time to really talk to you, because tomorrow is a whole different thing, then I want today to have impact. I want the words I say to carry weight with you. And the only way that happens is if you trust me. I had to earn your trust this year. Over the course of this year, that was my goal, was to earn your trust as a teacher, as a human, as an adult. Hopefully, I have succeeded in earning your trust over the course of this year. I believe I have for most of you, because I think if a lot of your teachers said, I am going to spend 3 days telling you stories about my childhood, it would begin the student revolution. And there is no way you guys would sit there and listen to them talk. And you guys sat and listened to me tell stories. Given it was stories about me getting arrested, which I'm sure were all kinds of exciting, but you still sat and listened to me tell stories. So the reason I did that was I need you to see me as human, to know that as an adult I make mistakes. Because I think a lot of adults don't do that with kids. I think too many of your parents, too many of your teachers, too many adults in general don't want kids to know that it's possible that they made mistakes in life and that they've screwed up in life and that they are not perfect. And it's important for you to know that adults make mistakes and adults screw things up and that we're not perfect. So I told you stories about me being imperfect and making mistakes. But I didn't tell you all of it. There's so much more to my background that I didn't get a chance to get into. I don't come from a place of happiness. I don't come from a good, perfect home life. Not a thing that I think most kids think about or would even suspect what kind of background an adult or your teacher would have. But I come from a lot of pain from when I was a kid. When I was 6 years old, my blood father abandoned me and left. And I've never seen him again since I was 6. I have no idea who he is. He and my mom divorced, and he decided he did not want to be part of my life and was gone. I have no idea where he is or what he does in the world. And my mom remarried, and I lived with my stepdad until I was 16. And at 16, they divorced. And so then I had to go through my second divorce at 16, and I lost my second father through that. Told you it's going to get real tough.
Any 8th grader last name T through Z with a school-owned iPad
Should be the last time.
come to the library to return your iPad. Anyone also 8th grade or 7th grade.
Does anyone in here have a school iPad?
Alphabet. If
Okay.
you still have your
I think we're
iPad,
good.
bring it to the library.
So I had dealt with divorce at 16, which sucks if you've never had to go through with it. I mentioned alcoholism in my family. My grandparents on my mom's side, my grandma and grandpa were both alcoholics. My uncle My mom's brother was a drug addict and an alcoholic to the point where he was in and out of jail and rehab all throughout my childhood. I was physically abused from a small child until I was a teenager, not by my parents, but by a close family friend, and it was trauma that I've had to recover from. The reason I tell you this is because I think it's important for you guys to know that I don't come from a place of perfection. I don't come from this place where everything went my way when I was a kid. I come from dysfunction, and I come from a screwed up background. But knowing that, you can still turn out okay. I'm not going to say normal, but you can turn out okay. And I think that's important to know, because as I have taught, the longer I've been around, the more kids come in and talk to me, the more I realize how much trauma kids have and how much kids struggle and what kind of bad things kids have to go through. And I think it's important for you guys to see an adult who has gone through something similar and come out okay. Sorry, I just realized I did not plug in the microphone. Better sound. So that's why I tell you guys this background going into who I am. I have mentioned that you guys are no longer kids, that your parents will see you as little kids for a little bit longer, maybe even until high school. Maybe it'll stop sometime coming up soon. Depends also if you have older siblings. It helps your parents see you as an older kid a little bit faster. But life is going to start presenting you with tough choices. Some of you have already started being presented with tough choices. After my conversations today, I've had kids come up and talk to me after class and explain to me the fact that they're already drinking at 7th grade and smoking pot in 7th grade, and that they've already started going down some of these paths. And that hurts me because I care about you guys, and I don't want that for you. I see two paths in front of every single one of you because I can connect you to past students. I can look at you and see past kids that you remind me of with your personality and how you act and behave, and all of the thousands of kids I've taught over the years. I see a version of you that went on to make good choices, and I see a version of you that went on and struggled with poor choices. And I want you guys to be able to be on the path of good choices and not be on the path of struggling bad choices. Because I've had girls come back and talk to me as freshmen in high school who are pregnant, who don't know what they're going to do and don't know how to confront their parents because of choices they've made. I've had 16-year-old boys who have come back to talk to me because they dropped out of school at the end of their sophomore year and are now getting kicked out of their house because their parents don't want them around anymore. And I've had kids who were screw-ups in 7th grade and failed all of 7th grade and thought they couldn't pull their life together, be honor roll students when they get to high school. Some of my best Camp Tecumseh counselors were kids who were screw-ups in 7th grade. And I don't know which path you guys are going to take. I don't know if you're going to go down the path where you screw up your life and come back to talk to me about your arrest. I don't know if you're going to go down the path where you come back and tell me about the fact that you are going to be a Camp Tecumseh counselor and everything is going your way. I don't know which path is in front of you. But I also know some of you have really wide paths, where your path for goodness is wide, where your chances of making mistakes aren't as strong. Your temptation into premarital sex, your temptation into drugs or alcohol, your temptation into making poor choices at school are not strong. And you'll probably be okay because your dark path is not very wide. But I know there's others of you who have a very, very wide dark path. And you already have struggles in front of you. And you already have the temptations of those things that are going to be coming in front of you. And it's for you guys that I worry, that I want to find a way to help, because this is my last time to have an impact on you, my last time to pass along any advice and try to shape who you are. There is always going to be evil in the world. It's not a thing we can avoid. There's always going to be racism. There's always going to be sexism. There's always going to be hatred. I don't think we can get rid of it. In all my years of teaching and being around humans, I think as long as we have people who have fears, we are going to have hatred. I wish that was something I could tell you that is a thing we can fix in our lifetime, but I don't know if we can. There are kids that are screwed up who grow into adults who are screwed up. You know this because you've been on social media. You've seen the videos of Karens and Chads and Kevins out there in the world. You know the fact that these people exist. We can't get rid of them. What you can choose to do is how you react to the world and what path you take. When you're a kid, it is easy to assume that every house is like your house, that every household, every family is similar to yours, because that's human nature. You assume that whatever you experience, others experience. Meaning, if you come from a home where you have two parents in the house that are there every night, that cook dinner for you, and you guys sit around the table, and you have parents that tell you on a regular basis that you love you, and you have parents on a regular basis that punish you when you make poor choices, when you have parents that tell you that they're proud of you, you assume every kid has that. Every kid should have that. Every 12 and 13-year-old should come home to that home. But they don't. That's not the way the world works. I have kids in my classes. I have kids in this class who don't have that at home. I have kids who hate going home. I have kids who come talk to me after school and are in tears because going home is a bad place, because parents are abusive, or parents are neglectful, or they have to raise family members and younger siblings all on their own, and it hurts and it sucks and it breaks a kid. It's hard when you're 12 and 13 and life craps on you and gives you a harder deal than the kid next to you. And that's what causes kids to lash out. When you're 12 and 13 years old and you've realized that your life sucks and it's not the way it should be, and you can't do anything to fix it, it makes you angry. And it's justifiably angry. But then when you see kids around you who get to have that happy life, who have the two parents at home, who have the parents who say they love them, it makes them angry. They lash out. You want to know why kids bully other kids? You want to know why kids are mean to others? It's not because they hate you. It's because they hate life. It's because they're sad and they're angry. And I can't blame them for being sad and angry. What I need you guys to do is two things. One, if you have the happy life, if you nodded your head as I was describing that first scene, that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't feel shamed. Don't feel upset. But you need to understand, not every kid has that. You need to understand, not every kid around you gets to go home to that. I have kids who are terrified of summertime because summertime means they have to be home with their family nonstop. I have kids who do not want Monday to come because Monday is not freedom for them. Monday is horror for them because it means they spend 2 months at home with people that make them miserable, who are abusive to them. And you have to realize those kids exist. You have spent years living in a bubble thinking that everybody lived like you, and they don't. If your life is the second scenario, and it is full of that pain and that heartache, I understand. It's too much weight for you to carry. I would love to sit here and tell you to just be a good person and suck it up. That's not the way the world works. Your life is going to be pain, but you can be stronger. That's why I told you the stories about me and the fact that I come from that pain and the fact that you can come out of it okay. It will suck for a while. There will be pain in your life, but you can make it out the other side. You choose what kind of path is going to be in front of you. I run my room the way I do because I want kids to feel accepted in my room. Back when I first started teaching, and I didn't necessarily spend time after school talking to kids, I was a different person and I was not as good of a teacher. What changed me was listening to kids talk and listening when kids would come back and have conversations with me. And I got bullied a lot as a kid, a lot. Many tears, many anger and hatred. And when I became a teacher, I hated the bully kids. I was probably meaner to the bully kids than I probably should have been. But the problem is, in my class, every kid seems to feel accepted, which I think is a good thing. Regardless if you're the smart kid or the dumb kid, the popular kid or the outcast, whether you're white, whether you're black, whether you're Hispanic, male, female, LGBTQ, I treat all of you as equally as I can. I will harass every single one of you as much as I harass any other kid, regardless of who you may be. Harassment is my love language. That is my way of letting you know that I care about you, is the fact that I harass each and every one of you as much as I do. But I would have bullies come back and talk to me too. And it was a weird experience when I had kids come into my room after school and talk about kids that were mean to them and these kids that were bullies. And then I would have bullies come in and sit in my room after school, and they would also talk to me. And I got to hear both sides of it. And it made it real hard for me to hate the bullies when you find out why they do what they do. It's hard to hate a kid when you find out that they're lashing out because there's so much pain and unhappiness in their life. And that changed who I was as a teacher. It allowed me to be more accepting. It's allowed me to interact with kids in a much stronger and better way. So I changed my class and how I ran things to hold kids responsible, which I think is even more important this year than maybe any year that I've taught, because I think quarantine and virtual learning did you guys a bigger disservice. I think it has hurt you mentally more than most adults know, because junior high subjects are not important. Junior high English is not important. 7th grade English is not important. The book you read for me, it's not important. I know it's not important. What's important in junior high is learning how to interact with other humans, learning how to get along with people, learning how to deal with kids who are jerks, learning how to deal with work you don't want to do, learning how to be that person who can cope with ADHD, who can cope with diabetes, who can cope with not knowing who you are as a person, who can cope trying to figure out where you fit on the LGBTQ spectrum. That's way more important than any English I taught this year. And for a year and a half, you guys dealt with the world through digital technology, which I think set you guys back tremendously, because it's so critical at this age for you to interact with other kids, and you had that robbed from you. And I see that watching you guys interact with each other now. I see that with the addiction to technology and phones that you guys have, that my own children have, because it was a safety net. You guys were able to view the world through technology, and it kept you safe from a lot of the hatred and anger and bad things in the world. But it also hurt you, because I think you guys have lost some social skills. So part of why I ran my room the way I did was to allow you guys to make mistakes. That's where behavior points come in. It's also why I punish you when you make poor choices in class, because I need to hold you guys responsible. I have learned that there are bad parents out there. Not every kid has good parents. Some bad kids grow up to be bad parents. And parenting is not easy. I tell that kids all the time. As a kid, you assume parents know what they're doing because they're adults. We don't. I'll tell you right now, parents don't know what we're doing. Adults don't know what we're doing. None of us do. We fake it really well. We have experience that can help us. But as far as teenagers go and being a parent to you, most adults don't know what they're doing. And some parents screw it up. And some parents screw it up really badly. So for those kids, I become a parent to them. I hold them responsible. I become that person that says, I don't give up on you. I become that person that says, I'm proud of you when you do a thing. Because I've realized that is a thing that not every kid gets to have in their life. And every kid should have that in their life. No kid wants other people to know the pain they're in. No kid wants to come to school and let other kids see that they hurt. Because one, it makes you weak and you can be attacked by others. And two, it makes you different, which is the thing that seems to scare every junior high kid, to be different. So because of that, people wear masks all the time. Because kids don't come to school and say, my parents are abusive. Kids don't come to school and say, I have to raise my younger siblings because my parents aren't around at night. Kids come to school and they wear a mask. They come to school and they pretend that they are somebody they are not, because that is who they want you to see. That is not always a bad thing. It helps you figure out who you want to be. But you also need to be strong enough to know who you are. I wear a mask to this day when I teach. The person you see in front of the classroom is not my true personality. My true personality is the shy, quiet kid who sits in the back of the room and watches everybody else, and the last thing I want is to have people staring at me and paying attention to me, laughing at me, because that mortifies me. But it would not make me a very good teacher if I was quiet and reserved. Kids don't want that kind of teacher. And it's not a very good example to set for kids. So I put on a mask. I put on this outgoing, gregarious, confident, friendly person. But it's not my true self. And I tell you guys that so that you understand it is okay to wear a mask sometimes. It is okay to wear a mask to be the person that you want to be until you become that person. But I'm also happy. I'm happy with who I am. It took a long time. I've gone through a lot of trauma. I've gone through a lot of dysfunction, a lot of pain. But I have gotten to a place in my life where I'm happy with who I am. And that's what I want for you guys. What I want for you is to ask a question that I don't need you to answer out loud, but in your heart. Are you happy with who you are? Do you like the version of you that you are? If the answer is yes, good. Embrace that. Do not let anyone else ever shake you from who you are. Do not let the opinions of some other kid change the version of you that you want to be. But if you are like me when I was in school, and you are not the person you wanted to be, and you are not the version of you that you want to be, why not? What is stopping you from being the version of you that you want to be? Do you want to be an athlete? Do you want to be outgoing? Do you want to be the smart kid? Do you want to be confident? What is stopping you from being that person? Is it fear? Are you afraid of what other kids will say about you? Are you afraid of rumors? Are you afraid of someone laughing at you? Are you afraid of them mocking you for your height, for your weight, for your shape, for your hair, for your skin color? Are you afraid of that? If you are, why? You get to control who shapes your life. You get to control who puts you on that path. If some random kid makes an opinion and laughs at you, why do you care? Why are you giving that person power over you? I am happy because I no longer let anyone have power over me. I'm happy because I don't care what other people say about me. I started this year with painted fingernails. If you remember in the other room, I had my purple painted fingernails because I wanted to challenge what people think is normal. I wanted to challenge what people think should be accepted. I challenged people to judge me. I challenge you to do the same thing. I challenge you to become the person you want to be. Next year, when you start 8th grade, after this summer, start the year being the person you want to be. Don't worry about other kids. Don't worry about what somebody says about you. Worry about who you trust and what they say about you. Do you have friends? Do you have friends you trust? Do you have friends whose opinions have weight to you? If so, that's who you let shape you. Don't let some random person shape you. Don't let me shape you if you don't value what I say. If you're listening to me and you don't like me, that's fine. Don't let me be the person that shapes who you are. For some of you, there are going to be adults, teachers, and parents who try to shape you into something you're not. It is going to be a tough battle for you to fight that. But I challenge you to fight it. Do not let parents make you be somebody you are not. You need to figure out who you want to be. There is a reason why on the back of every hero shirt I've ever designed, I put fearlessly be yourself. Because I think it is critical to who you are going to be. You need to fearlessly choose who you are and not let anyone else choose or impact that. At camp, some of you may have noticed I have a tattoo on the back of my leg. I got this tattoo when I was 24 years old because my grandfather, the alcoholic, who I loved very, very much, gave me the advice as a kid that if you ever get a tattoo, and I wanted a tattoo since I was in junior high, he said, design it yourself so it has meaning, and then wait 5 years after you design it. And if you still want the tattoo after 5 years, you will never regret it. Some of the best advice I've gotten. I designed this one myself when I was going through some personal hardships in college. I got it my 3rd year of teaching, and I've never regretted it. What it is, it's a smiley face. And then around it is a snake representing evil. And there's a Latin phrase that says, ignis aurum probat, miseria forte viros. What the Latin phrase means, it says, fire can destroy you, evil can make you stronger. The idea is, for me, there's always evil around us. We can't get rid of racism. We can't get rid of sexism. We can't get rid of all the hatred out there. What you can do is choose how you react to it. Do you choose the path of happiness, or do you choose the path of sorrow and pain? I tattooed myself to help guide me because I needed that as my center to always choose happiness. If you've enjoyed my class this year, if you've enjoyed me this year, that is the one piece of advice allow me to push on to you. When you are given the option in life, choose happiness. It's not the easy path at all, but you can choose it. You can choose how you react to everything. Do you react to it through anger, hatred, drama, or do you react to it by trying to make the world a better place? Every person you interact with, do you make their life better, or do you make their life worse? I told you the story about Travis, the kid in the hallway, who I thought was going to bully me, and instead gave me the advice. I have no idea why he chose that day to make my life better as opposed to worse, but 30 years later, I still remember his words. It is the small things you do that have impacts on other people. When you choose to smile and you choose that path of happiness, you impact your life. You are choosing whether you want to put positivity into the world or negativity into the world. My door will always be open to you. I never forget a student. I will never forget you guys. If you ever need to talk, if you ever need to come back, I will never say no to you, and I will never turn you away. You are always welcome to come back, and I will always listen to you. See? Somber, not sad. Enjoy your day.